Hello, welcome to another episode of the G.I. Joe New News Review. I am David Allen, and I am coming to you with all the hot press and news off of the 2025 Toy Fair with my special guest, Dan Thompson.
Hey,
Hello,
David. Hey,
welcome.
everybody.
Again, thanks for joining me again, Dan. This is going to be a really good, fun episode. There's a lot of stuff to cover. It's been an exciting weekend. Have you been keeping up with everything?
Yeah, thanks for having me on, and hello to everybody out there in YouTube land. And yes, I've been keeping up with it, and sadly, my wallet is screaming in pain right now because it just knows what's coming down the pike. It's so much cool stuff from GI Joe to Mask to I'll even say Jim and the Holograms to Thundercats to
Transformers.
Transformers, NECA Turtles. Yeah, it's I'm gonna have to get like a third job or something.
There was
And
some new
start.
superpowers and Super
Oh,
Friends stuff announced from Todd McFarlane. There was some new Masterverse McFarlane's. There's some new Spin Master Batman. There's I don't know
and
if I've seen all the news.
big news that DC Comics is going back to Mattel in
Yep, DC's going back
2026.
to Mattel. So get your McFarlane superpowers while you can, because that's the end of that.
Yeah, hopefully they're smart to keep that line going, but maybe not. But yeah, it looks really cool. I'm gonna start dancing or something to make some extra money to pay for all these toys. Only problem is when I do that, I end up owing money, so I don't think it's gonna work out too good. So, but yeah, man, there's so much cool stuff, and it's kind of. And on a side note, it's just glad to see Toy Fair back into its groove because COVID, threw everything off, and then you had the one year everybody was doing. We're going to do our Toy Fair online for our company and this company,
Yeah.
and it's just nice to see it all like back the way it's meant to be. And I just still love to go either work it for one of my vendors as a favor and just be there, or just go as a media person and just like check out stuff and
Yeah.
just kind of be like, oh wow, that stuff's cool.
If we ever get big enough, like Dan Larson, Toy Galaxy, or like Pixel Dan, or Full Force, or Preternia, or any of those guys, big enough where maybe we can get passes to Toy
Well,
Fair in the future. Who knows?
back in I think it was 2013, I went to San Diego Comic Con, me and a buddy from the shop, and we wanted to see the Sons of Anarchy cast because I think this was the year before the Comic Con before the last season,
Yeah.
and we were trying to figure out what hotel they were in. We were going to do like an Axel Foley thing and sneak into like the back of the hotel, put on like waiters jackets, and like, hey, we have Charlie Hunnam's special dish we have for him. We got to get up there and Ron Perlman and Katie Siegel and get in there and get some autographs and pictures and then get out of there. I mean, worst case that happens, we get arrested, and the weather's really nice in San Diego. So I mean, it
I
just
think it would have been better coming to MegaCon because they had the entire cast here this past year, and it's a lot closer
oh
to
yeah,
Florida
now
than it
it's
is
not
to
like that
San
big of a
Diego.
deal, but yeah, we're just like, so we should do the Axel Foley thing. So hopefully nobody from Toy Fair is watching this and onto our game plan, but we'll just go in like we're the caterers or something. Like who ordered all this like chicken and McDonald's and stuff? Be like just walk around Starbucks, hand
Yeah.
it to random people and be like, David, look at this toys over here. Come here, come here. You know, we'll figure out a way. We'll be there.
I would
We're
love
coming,
to.
Toy Fair.
I would love to.
2026, watch out.
Okay. That's a bet. I'm gonna try to do that. So let's start this off. Earlier in the week, there were some drops for San Diego Comic Con for a Cold Slither cross merchandise event. They talked about a new comic book from Skybound, an LP that's going to be coming out with
Oh
music.
wow.
There's going to be a Super 7 O-Ring Reaction Plus style Zartan figure with their next wave, and an entire classified wave of Cold Slither, the whole set of Dreadnoks in a collector case as a San Diego Comic Con exclusive. So I'm going to show some of those pictures off.
Well, first off, David, I just got that song out of my head, and now you got it stuck in my head again. So thanks very much.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry. So uh, uh, there's the picture of the Cold Slither. I don't know how clear you can see that or not on there.
Yeah, I can see it. We're a little new to StreamYard and setting this up. Usually our good friend Terry sets up all the screen
Pictures.
shares. So we're
Yeah.
going a little impromptu on this.
Yeah.
I think those look amazing. I guess it was Emily was at the show and she was showing off the box that comes in. It's got
Yep.
speakers, it's got a stage.
Yep.
It's like the Springfield Tavern or something they're playing in.
Yeah.
Um,
Now
now, where did you,
these are renders from Hasbro that they put out. And there's Zartan himself. These are
yeah, that
all
looked
renders.
amazing.
Yeah, I
I
agree.
tell you, did you ever think that we would live in a world where we get cold Slither action figures?
Nope,
I mean,
never.
2025 has been absolutely amazing so far. Just in general, with everything that's going on in the world, it's just one of those like we're going to look back like, wow, that was a crazy, wild, fun year, and we got cold Slither action figures.
Yep.
I mean, it's just so cool.
So here's the Super 7 Zartan. That one's a little light, so it's going to be hard to see that in here in my camera, but you can kind of get a picture of that. See that?
Yeah, and guys, if you can't see that real good, if you go to like Toy News International or you go to Full Force, their YouTube or Facebook page or whatnot, or Twitter, you should be able to see a lot of this too. Yeah,
Yep.
I just think it's amazing, and I just love the happy about the love this brand is getting. It's well overdue and well deserved, you know.
Um, yeah, so if you want to see a little bit further deep dive into the Cold Slither reveals, I did an episode on Wednesday with the creator of Cold Slither, Charles or Michael Charles Hill. Check my channel out and watch that. And while you're at it, subscribe, like, share any of these videos while you're at it.
Now they haven't given a price point on that yet, have they?
Nope, they haven't given any prices on any of this stuff
I'm
yet.
thinking it's probably 120 to 150 range.
And so this is the next wave that they announced by Super 7. It's going to be obviously Cold Slither Zartan. We're going to get Sumbo Wild Bill, the animated colors Snake Eyes version 2, and Arctic Cobra Commander. So I don't know. Maybe I can get a better. Oh yeah,
I have a really good friend of mine that's super stoked about that Wild Bill. Any Wild Bill he can get, he is happy. He's growing a Wild Bill mustache. And
well, I never would have thought that would have been something, but apparently, yeah, people want this version of Wild Bill. I never even thought about it. Yeah, it is different than the toy or the comics.
Yeah, I mean, it's more the cartoon, and we never really. I don't think we ever got. I mean, maybe the 25th anniversary. They did kind of the blue with the orange vest.
The comic 2-pack, right?
Yeah, it was the comic 2-pack,
right?
Yeah.
So then, early before Toy Fair, it was like a Toy Fair preview or whatever on Thursday. They had a preview, and what's his name that was at Hasbro for a long time? I cannot think of his name. Was there as a consultant for Loyal Subjects and TSA Toys, I think it is. What is his name? He just got let go not too long ago.
Oh, there's a guy who was there for like 25 years or something.
Yeah.
I know who you're talking about. I can't think. It's like John something, maybe.
Yeah, I can't think of his name either.
Yeah, but I know exactly who you're talking about. I just can't think of his name off the top of my head. Of course, I'm absolutely terrible with names, but
yeah, me too. Chris McLeod and the Full Force interviewed him a little bit and talked with him. But so they revealed the mask toys finally, right?
They look awesome.
Yeah, and they look incredible. There's Rhino. Now they're using some sort of a number system for these. They're not using the original names because there's licensing issues. There's Matt Tracker.
Now, where'd you get those pictures there? Where'd you get those from?
These pictures are from Preternia. Thank you. I want to give credit to Preternia. I'm using your pictures. Thank you very much.
Great place to check out stuff.
Oh yeah, they do a great job pre-turn. Yeah, that was Razorback. Is it or no?
There's
No, that's
the Rhino,
Switchblade.
Switchblade, the
Switchblade.
Rhino, the Thunderhawk, and then the Condor.
Yes. And that's the figure I've been wanting for years is a 4-inch scale figure to go with the 25th Matt Tracker, but he kind of got left out. You were on that episode last week with me where I was not very happy about that situation. And I was trying to see if someone would show some sort of scale to an O-ring to these, but no one did. No one showed.
We might know a guy that could 3D print that.
Yeah, there's somebody else that is doing a 3D printed one of these, I think, of this. It was through a third party last year.
Oh yeah, Ramen Toys.
Ramen Toys, yes.
Yeah,
it looks really good.
Yeah, I think so too. I think what Loyal Subjects is doing is really awesome with that. Now, on a side note, did you see any of the ROMs? Anything with ROM on the Toy Fair? I haven't
They showed the comic mini comic wave, and there was ROM. It looked beautiful.
Yeah, the Hasbro one, but the Loyal Subjects one, they're supposed to be doing.
No, I haven't heard anything about the Loyal Subjects one. This is the only thing they had
Okay.
that they were showing off. Obviously, Gem has already come out. Some of the other ones are on the way. I've seen different pictures of My Buddy and Pet Monster and a couple other things. Oh, Rainbow Bright and Strawberry Shortcake have already started coming out their lines. So I'm hoping this is going to be at Walmart because I'll be getting these right off the bat. So that
I hope I have access to them too, because I would love. I've already got people asking me to order them for them in the shop. I mean, I think they look great, and I can't think of the guy that runs Loyal Subjects name, but he said that with masks, in regards to masks, it's going to be like 1985 never ended,
right?
Or and I'm like, that's great.
But the difference is these are not exactly like those.
They're a little bit different.
They are slightly different. The elbows have more the shoulders have more movement. The waist construction is different, so it gives more flexibility when you sit them in the vehicles and things like that, and put them in the vehicles.
I think the vehicle construction's a little slightly different too. Like it's more modernized.
Yeah, they're using new technology and stuff like that. Rhino is going to start at around $100, and the pricing will go down from there. So, yeah, I was a little surprised. I thought that was a little pricey, but I don't know what it would be when it gets to Walmart, but I'm hoping it's cheaper than that. That's going to start as an exclusive through Big Bad Toy Store, and that'll be, I believe, in July or August, and then September it's going to start rolling out to the rest of the country.
Is it mask in general or just the Rhino?
Mask in general.
Oh, okay.
And the guy from Hasbro said that they've got some out of the box ideas that have never been made before that is coming, and some really big favorites that haven't been made before, and some other cool stuff that's going to be coming down. So he gave some cool insights into Mask, what we could expect. So I'm very, very happy about that. I'm looking forward to all that.
Yeah, everything I've seen looks really awesome. I mean, just everything, like in all the stuff they showed yesterday, it just looks really good.
See, and I'm not going to be able to show every single thing that we saw because it's just too much. I'm just covering
we'd be here for a week.
Well, I'm just covering the stuff that's within our kind of remit here on the G.I. Joe New News Review. Anything that's connected to G.I. Joe or is G.I. Joe, I'll be covering. But there's so much more stuff out there. I recommend you guys go check on Instagram. There's so much stuff. All kinds of great people are covering it. Don't limit yourself to this. This is just something that I wanted to cover myself because I'm having a good time with it. So this was a shocker. This particular one, I don't know if you even saw this. Did you see this?
What is that? I can't see that.
That's Jetfire and the two main characters from Void Rivals as O-rings.
Oh, wow.
So that means Skybound's coming with some cool stuff.
That's awesome.
Yes.
I can never remember those two characters' names. It's like Derek,
No,
Derek, and
Derek, Avek, and or something like that. Yeah, they have
yeah.
weird names.
I read the book.
Yeah,
I
I
read it
don't have it in
twice, and I
my
still can't get their names right.
yeah, I don't have it in my immediate memory. I read them too. Sorry, Skybound, I don't remember their names. I'm surprised I could remember Jetfire's name.
Oh, that looks great.
Yeah, I think that's going to be incredible. I wonder how that's going to come out or what the cost of that is going to be. But the next, all these other pictures that I'm going to be showing are from the Full Force podcast. So thank you, Chris McCloud, for attending and doing all that. I want to make sure I give full credit to Chris McCloud, the Full Force podcast, for all this stuff. But the packaging for the Cold Slither box set, there it is. And there's all kinds of homages. I didn't take a lot of pictures. I didn't get a lot of pictures of this, but there are like movie music posters all around the perimeter of Gem. See, did you see that particular one? That's the first one I want to make sure you see is that movie poster or music poster is Gem in the holograms.
That's so cool.
And then there's also the Green Shirt Band and a Cold Slither poster and the Misfits. And it's like half burnt. Someone tried to burn the Misfit poster because they don't like the Misfits from Gem. So this slides off, and there are some other homages in there too. They have what's his name? Monkey Yabo from who's the hunter? The Dreadnought hunter.
Oh, Naugahyde.
Naugahyde. His monkey Yabo is in the back of this, and it has Monkey Wrench leaning on the side of the building, and that means we're getting a Monkey Wrench figure coming.
Real quick, I just double checked. It's Derek, and Salila. And it's going to be a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive.
Oh, another
with Jetfire. Yeah, so
no.
Yeah, that's going to be cool.
We're going to be having a hard time trying to get all that. Whew.
It's going to be 2025 is going to be pretty expensive.
Oh, it's going to be. There's no doubt.
Oh yeah, I'm seeing the picture right now of them together. Yeah, that looks really fun. That looks really, really cool.
So Chris McCloud got to go into the main area where they're showcasing a lot of the stuff. So we got to see the retro carded Next Wave, which is CoverGirl. There's CoverGirl and Flint retro versions of both of those, right? And then there's the Televiper. Televiper, Flint, and CoverGirl there. I don't know how well you can see these pictures.
Man, I'm loving that the cartoon's getting some love.
A lot of love. I would say a lot of love. A lot.
Yeah, that's who knows? Maybe the thing we talked about with the prequel to the cartoon, who knows? Maybe that could happen. That's whether it's, but no, that's I love it because I mean, we never had that CoverGirl as kids or up until recent, like with the Super 7 Plus.
Yep.
But no, those look great. And then you're about to show Snake Eyes with the polar bear. I mean, that freaking looks amazing.
I'm going to do the Firefighter first.
I think he looks cool.
He's the first. Oops, my thing keeps going out on me. He's the first in the Legacy figures now. So that they transitioned from the 60th anniversary into the Legacy. So it's pretty much known that the next one is like some sort of emergency paramedic type of character, and there's a possibility there'll be a policeman.
I think the policeman's the next one coming up because I think we've already ordered those. I ordered the Firefighter last year. I think it's like a cop or a SWAT person, maybe SWAT officer or SWAT policeman or something.
Oh, all right.
I think it's a great idea. Now those pictures are off from Full Force.
Yeah, they're all from the Full Force podcast.
Yeah, I think I watched this morning his walk through the booth talking to Lenny and a few other people. Yeah. I thought that was a lot of cool stuff.
Yep. So let's see what else. There was quite a few things that were shocking. So I'm going to show the next thing I'm going to show is this is one of my favorite figures. It almost finishes the Rawhides from the movie Law and Order. He was
Yep.
pretty much the last of the original O-ring Rawhides that came out. If they want to go a step further, maybe we'll get Big Lob. Who
They
knows?
need to make Big Lob. Big
Because
Lob's
we
cool,
never
man.
the 4-inch convention one, I was never happy with that. So I want a tall, lanky basketball guy. I really would love that. So, but this Law and Order looks really good. They went to town and made sure this was super accurate with different good boy and bad boy heads for Order, and where you can add pouches to his vest, and there's like stuff you can take off of Law's thing, his walkie-talkie, so he can call for help. His helmet is the vintage helmet, but more advanced, a better version of it. He's got all like directional hands for giving the dog order directions, just like Mutt and Junkyard had.
And shout out to our to Kirk Bazingian, America's Dad, because
Yeah,
that's who they patterned Law after.
yep, that was his figure. He was based
Larry
on
was
him.
Tunnel Rat. Ron Rudat was Leatherneck,
Mhm.
and Kirk was Law. And then
Well, there's a
that
lot of
was,
other people that had
oh yeah,
homages too.
I think that's so freaking cool.
Yep. So the next wave of 4 figures was also shown off that we should be getting a lot of this stuff. I'm guessing we're going to be getting on. Oh, speaking of which, on the 4th, I believe we're going to get all the retro figures, Flint, CoverGirl, Televiper, Snake Eyes with Polar Bear, um,
Blowtorch.
Breaker, Snake Eyes, Polar Bear, and the 3 retros, and the Firefighter, I believe, are all going to be up for pre-order on Tuesday, the 4th of March. And then one of my other ones I'll announce when I show it will be up at the Walmart's Collecticon. And if you know where I'm going with this, Dan, you'll probably already know what I'm going to tell you. But the next 4-figure wave of figures, Footloose. There's Footloose. He looks really cool. And the way they explained him was they used a lot of like his surfing and his Zen type stuff, and they updated his helmet with a pattern of leaves and stuff like that. And there's a lot of really cool stuff with him. He was never a character that I really cared for that much, but they really did a good job updating him. And then there's the Frag Viper. So they explained finally what the Frag Viper is going to look like
Yeah,
underneath
he's creepy.
mask. He's going to be half cyborg. So they used like this paint for his eyes, so he looks like half cyborg eyes, and he looks really creepy looking. I don't know how well you can see this picture in there, but he
Yeah,
looks
if you
really
guys
good.
don't know, Cobra uses very unethical means
Yes,
to enhance their
science. Yep.
troops.
A
Yeah, they
lot of
don't. They do science with no limits. Like even
I call that fringe science. They use a lot of fringe science. But this is a character that was one of my all-time favorites. That's why I love G.I. Joe, was Blowtorch.
Oh yeah, one of mine too.
I'm not a huge fan of this version of Blowtorch. I see there's homages to the original there, and Lenny said he tried to make it as close as he could, but he wanted to upgrade it and give it that classified upgrade to it. But I'm hoping,
I'm happy with it because I think he looks cool and kind of modern.
yeah,
I
he
understand
does.
what you're coming from though, because I remember when that wave when I was a kid came out. I was like Blowtorch, Ripcord, and I can't remember the other two that I got at the same time. We got like 4 of them together, and like it's
Recondo, Spirit,
Blowtorch looked
Duke.
so cool because he had the mask. It would come off, and same thing with Ripcord. Any type of accessory like that when I was a kid, I just thought was really really
That
cool.
year is my favorite year. They had the best, in my opinion, the best Joes and the best Cobras all that year.
And
But
so,
then,
man, there's we should do a thing. Me, you, and Terry, or I should speak proper. You, Terry, and myself should do a show and just talk like go year by year and kind of pick out like, who is like your main three or your main four. Cause I mean, that would be such a fun topic. Just to
84 would be a very difficult year.
80,
Very difficult.
86 would be hard for me, and 83 and 84 would be hard too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just such cool stuff.
Yeah. So the last one in the 4-figure wave, the next 4-figure wave was Darklon, and Lenny explained that there's like a Scottish knot on the top of one of his heads, and they really tried to tie in a lot of his connection to Destro. So there's a Iron Grenadiers McCullen type stone in his sword there.
Yes, the family jewel, the
Right.
Destro clan's family jewel.
Exactly. So
And
that
then
was
there's one more. There's one more you forgot. It's Crystal Ball.
well, that's not in that wave. That's going to be in an exclusive, and I was about to just get to that. So
gotcha.
this is going to be released on the 13th through Walmart's Collecticon. I let you guys know in advance. This is a Walmart exclusive Crystal Ball, and here he is. And actually, he's right next to the Mass Device Breaker as well. So we might as well talk about Breaker as well. But let's talk about this Crystal Ball. So he does not all the parts are like see-through or like kind of like translucent. So the head is another head, because it's like he's making you see these holograms or these imaginings in your head, because he's manipulating your mind and everything. So the head is a Cthulhu type head, and it has like moving tentacles and stuff like that. It looks totally awesome. I think they made Crystal Ball into a totally awesome character, much better than he originally was as a 4-inch O-ring figure back in the day.
He looks way cooler than he has any right to look.
Exactly.
He looks. I mean, every time I would play GI Joes as a kid, Crystal Ball was always
the
like,
first one to go, right?
Gets murked every time.
Yeah.
And because he was a throwaway guy.
Yeah.
But now, I mean, that one looks really, really cool. And
So
I think Lenny was saying that he uses Cobra Tech again, science no limits, I guess, with Cobra, to make you think you're seeing stuff, to get the illusion that he's some type of magician. Right. So I can see, like, if it's in a cartoon or a comic,
it's more dark magic.
He could have like troops thinking he's like a wizard or something, and like, don't make you mad. He'll put a spell on you, sort of thing. Yeah. And I tell you, you just said something. It made me think of this. Visionaries.
Illusion.
Yeah, like how cool would it be to bring back Visionaries and use some of that stuff and tie Crystal Ball into that?
Please bring back Visionaries. We're getting Mass, we're getting Rom, we're getting Gem, we're getting a lot of this Cold Slither, we're getting a lot of cool stuff. I want Cops, I want Visionaries.
Oh, Cops was awesome.
Micronauts, bring it all. And Humanoids, all of it. I want all of it. But he has
just bring back the 80s. I'm fine with that.
He's got this cool crystal ball here and has like a skull in the center of it.
That's so cool.
And the shield is a lenticular shield, and it goes in and out. The snakes go in and out. And then there's a disc that can go on top of that. If you want to block that, you can. So it looks totally awesome. I'm probably going to get 3 of those crystal balls. And I would never have thought that, but I think I'm gonna, because
whoever would have said something like that. Exactly. You're lucky if you got 1 crystal ball. Now
Exactly. So then we got the Mass Device Breaker, and they added the bubble gum that they wanted to add originally. Now, Assembly required Brian Sauer, when he did his convention a few years ago, at the dinner, we got a little packet, and it had Breaker bubble gum. And I have it up here. Hold on. Here it is. Bazooka, and this is classified, so I was able to put it with my other breaker that came with the RAM. Bazooka bubblegum for 3D printed to go inside your breaker, and it goes inside of his radio thing, so it sticks in there.
Oh,
so now
cool.
Hasbro finally made it, and they said they wanted to do it in the original, but it kind of got costed out. So that's cool that they finally got to that homage. So he looks really good. He's got the meteorite crystals. He's got 2 heads. He's got a lot more tech based on the newer figures that have all the tech fold outs and stuff like that. So he's got all that. He looks really good. I think they did a really good job on this breaker.
I
I'm
think so
glad
too.
they're doing a lot of the figures that were vehicle figures over, like the Televiper, this breaker, different other people that were in vehicles. They're bringing them back out so people can get those
And I
figures
don't
if they
think
didn't
it's
get
I
the
don't think it
vehicle.
hurts to have more Televipers or
Yeah,
figures like that.
no, I 100% agree with you on that. Now, this was a huge shock. A Night Force 2-pack with Beachhead and Quick Kick. And this is based on the 2000s Night Force multi-pack that Beachhead and Quick Kick were in. And they look totally different. There's green and red homages to the other Night Force figures. But this Quick Kick, Lenny said he wanted to give him shoes. And he's been beating up the Ninja Vipers and stealing their masks. So he painted one of their masks green and
I think
red.
that's really cool.
So he incorporated their mask, and you can see all the heads and hands and stuff in the background there. It's hard to see in this picture. I apologize. These are all pictures from someone else, pictures from the convention. And then obviously we have the 2 divers, the Cobra and Joe divers, and they look really cool. And I'm looking, and they said the heads, they're making all the heads compatible, so you can put other figures' heads on these divers if you want to.
I think that's a really good idea. Super good idea.
Yes, to troop build and stuff like that. I think that's a great idea. I think that
So
was very good.
So I ask you a question. So if you put Stalker's head on the diver's body, do you leave his beret on when he goes underwater, or do you take the beret off?
Probably not. I wouldn't take that off. I would take it off, I think. That's funny. And
that
then
cartoon protection, though, it won't get wet.
Yeah, exactly, right? And so they also include multiple heads, tons of gear, and they have the water element that comes with them because they are part of the Mass Device line. And all the Mass Device figures are Target exclusive. So then we have Snake Eyes with the polar bear. And now they showed what the polar bear, that pull-out part, that chunk of his skin that gets damaged, it's this big meaty like thing that's underneath there. Looks really gruesome. And then they revealed that, if you can see on here, Snake Eyes' hands are glow in the dark. So it's like he got affected by the radiation.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Wonderful world building.
Now, which ones are you saying are Target exclusives? Because
all the Mass Device, Snake Eyes, Polar Bear, Breaker, and the 2 divers.
Yeah, I don't think that's right, because we've ordered Snake Eyes and the Polar Bear from my shop.
I'm just going by what I've heard on Full Force, and Lenny, I believe, mentioned it when he was going through the tour with them.
But something changed, because we ordered a lot of that back in October.
Oh,
yeah.
Maybe it's a fan channel thing then. Maybe it's some sort of fan channel. They'll sell it through Target.com and you guys.
I know a while back they were talking about one of the things Hasbro wanted to do was to have more exclusive lines for fans channel and online, because they got burned so bad by Target and Walmart and Ollie's. All that stuff having to get subsidized.
Right.
That because I know there was like a couple of Star Wars waves that weren't available in mass retail, and we've already taken pre-orders on the Snake Eyes and the Polar Bear. I'm pretty sure the diver and all that too. I'll double check with my toy guy. I mean, things can change too. That's happened in the past where we had orders in and then they said, "Oh no, these are going to be exclusives." But as far as I know, we're getting all those.
Well, they didn't say where the Night Force one, but that's supposed to be a Walmart exclusive. All Night Force is Walmart exclusive. So I'm guessing that's going to also be an exclusive at some point. I don't know when. But there were some other things that were shown off, and I don't have a great picture of this, but I have a lot of information for this. Is the armor bot. And they showed how it folds out. They said it's going to be like 12 inches tall, and they showed how it folds out. It goes up, and all the parts fold out, and you can put a figure in there.
Yeah, Terry called it on that. Remember?
Yep. But it's not going to include a figure because they wanted to keep the cost down. So I think that's going to give you the ability to troop build with these, buy a few of them, because we got plenty of troops to stick in this, you
Absolutely.
know? But they said it can be scale. It can fit up to Roblox size figures.
It'll
but
just
it
be a little
cannot,
tight.
yeah, it would be a little tight, but it cannot fit up to Road Pig figures. Road Pig and above are not compatible with this.
So what you're saying is I can't put the polar bear in it.
No, but they said when you stand the polar bear, it's got articulated claws, and when you stand it up, it's about 9.5 inches, so it could fight that polar bear.
Now, did you catch? I watched the video this morning, like I said, where that the guy from Full Force was going through the booth and talking to Lenny.
Yes.
There is a picture of G.I. Joe headquarters inside the Snake armor,
Yes.
like on a display.
Yep.
That's like the second or third reference to the G.I. Joe headquarters, that
So
the Hasbro team has brought up.
I'm hoping they do like an assemblable type headquarters that
Man,
will
wouldn't that
come
be
with
cool?
different vehicles, different like diorama pieces, right? And then when you get all the dioramas all together, you can put them together and they assemble some sort of a skeleton of a G.I. Joe headquarters.
I feel like that'd be, unless you did a HasLab, I feel like that's the best way you could do it, where it's economical, where you could buy like the that Cobra bunker thing. That they said you could build like 10 of them together, but you'd only buy like 3 at a time. Like something like that, but a little bit bigger, that you can get like 2 bays, or a bay over here, and the main part and the console and the jail. That would be really cool, and it would kind of keep that skin in the game, if you will, for like collectors, like keep them coming back.
Yeah,
like
I 100% agree.
And/or instead of doing Build-A-Figures, just like the computer console comes with Snake Eyes and the Polar Bear, or something like that. I think that'd be kind of neat.
I think they're testing the waters with this whole mass device thing, trying to do a theme across a line, and then I'm guessing we're gonna get the mass device, and then maybe if that works and it does well enough and people want it, then maybe we can do the same thing with the Weather Dominator. The different discs and parts of the Weather Dominator comes with different people and different versions of characters. They can re-release another Destro, or another this person, or another that person, and then so on and so forth. Do the Pyramid of Darkness. We just got the Fatal Fluffies from Super 7, but that doesn't mean you couldn't get a Fatal Fluffy with this character, or a Fatal Fluffy with that character, or a Fatal Fluffy with this character, and then you can like troop build Fatal Fluffies, but they each come with another figure, or maybe there's a cube with this guy, a cube with that guy, a cube with this guy. Maybe they're testing the format and seeing how it works.
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah,
I mean that would be. I mean, I'm all in on that.
Yeah. So there's stuff that's going to be Walmart exclusive, stuff that's going to be Target exclusive. I'm guessing there's a lot of Pulse stuff that's going to be on there. I'm pretty sure Ostriker will be a Pulse exclusive, and then fan channel stuff. So there's a lot of stuff coming out. And like I said, I didn't cover that much. I only covered the Joe or the related G.I. Joe stuff here, but there is a lot more stuff, and it looks good. And I'm gonna broke.
Just the stuff I've seen just looks amazing. I mean, just it's a great time to be a fan of this stuff. I really think so. You've got the Larry Hama comics kicking butt. You got the Skybound comic kicking butt. Classified line looks great. The Super 7 Plus looks great. Now, I was hoping that Super 7 would announce that they're going to do anything with vehicles and playsets, because I know that's something they talked about. I haven't seen any information on that. Maybe that's like a Comic-Con thing they'll announce
I'm hoping
after they get a couple waves out.
Well, they're on their third wave now. I'm hoping by Joe Fest this year that we can get that announcement from Super 7 that they're going to hopefully maybe do the Aspid. I've been hinting at it, asking Brian, I think that's the one vehicle that is the most compatible. He was talking to another podcast about Thundercats, and they did those gliders, right? The mutant gliders. That's the most compatible Thundercat vehicle that you could buy, is the mutant gliders, because it's capable of being used with any mutant or maybe even other bad guys, right? That glider. And I think the Aspid helicopter, Cobra helicopter, is the one vehicle across the board. You can use it for vintage O-ring. You can use it for reaction plus, 4-inch. It's possible to be used for any of this stuff. It's
that helicopter
vehicles.
I
Yes.
used to dream of that when I was a kid. That thing would be awesome.
So I think that's the one vehicle they could do, and it would sell millions. And Brian always is funny about that when he says millions, but is there really millions, or is it thousands or whatever? And he makes a joke about it. But I think that particular one, if it's done right and you have the right stuff that comes with it and the options and making it adjustable and different things where you can carry different stuff and winches and make it look really cool and do a pilot and stuff like that with it. I think if it was done right, and I think Super 7 could do it right, you would be selling that thing like by the droves.
Yeah, I'd buy at least 3 or 4 just to, because you're not going to have just like one. I mean, you'd have like either one helicopter going for a mission, or you'd have like 4 when you're in an invasion or a,
that's the
sort of
thing.
thing.
Whenever you saw them in the comics or in the cartoon, there was always 3 or 4 of them flying. It was never by one.
Unless it was just like a getaway ship or a very, they're dropping Storm Shadow off to do something sort of deal. But yeah, you'd at least have like I guess, I don't know what a fleet would be, but like at least like 3 or 4 of them flying together.
At least four. And the pricing would be an interesting pricing, because the sled with the Nomad or whatever, the guy with the Snake Eyes sled with the Nomad guy and everything from Super 7 Reaction, that was like around $80 for that. So that makes me think that we're going to probably be in the 150 range for an Aspid, just as a gut. They would not, Lenny would not tell Full Force any pricing information. He asked what that, the mech, the Cobra, snake bot, whatever, was going to be, and he couldn't tell him. So I'm guessing, I really hope that it does, since it doesn't have a figure, that it might be in the $80 range. I'm hoping.
I'm thinking 50 to 60.
You think it's going to be cheaper then?
I think so. If it had a figure, I'd say definitely 80. But
it's a figure by itself. It's a 12-inch figure.
Well, they don't do $50 anymore. It's 55. So I'd say 55 or $65 range. 55, I think, because it's basically a big hollow piece of plastic. Because you can fit the person in there.
There's guns.
Oh, yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, there's not, there's a lot of detail on the inside, but it's not weight-wise. It's not going to weigh down for shipping and all that. I'd say probably about $55, $65.
I'm thinking it's a vehicle, and I think it might be a little bit pricier, but that's just my gut. Who knows?
I'll go as high as 75.
So is there stuff you've been ordering that you know that we don't know, Dan?
Yeah, and half of it I've forgotten because there's so much. There's just one Friday I got the call, and we went through Joe, Transformers, Marvel Legends. I don't think there's any new Star Wars really worth ordering that was coming out. And then a few other things. There's just like so much. And like there's no pictures. I can't get an email confirmation because a lot of it was like, like knew about Footloose. We've ordered him quite a few of that Dark Lawn, all that stuff. Because I'm like, I get, Sky Dancer. How many of those do you want? Well, who's Sky Dancer? Hold on. Sky Dancer is Dark. I'm just saying, for example.
Oh,
You know,
because they're using the code words.
yeah, it's kind of silly. I mean, I understand the code words with like us, but like with the vendors and all that, it's just like just make them sign an NDA. Like you can't be telling people like, oh, they're doing Major Blood version 3 or something. You know,
Right.
just you know, it makes it easier because then sometimes they don't know. They're like, I think it's this guy, and like, ooh, well, I don't want to base because I have a different formula I use for orders. Like if it's a troop, order a lot of. If it's an individual character, okay, here's my ceiling. Now I know we're getting green shirts. I know we're getting dedicated
Yeah.
green shirts.
So that's supposed to be what in the next 4-figure regular wave. I think it's going to be Snake Eyes
Possibly.
version 4, the green shirts, sci-fi, and oh no, that's going to be in the retro. The next retro. I'm
Now
getting my stuff mixed up.
we were
It's going
supposed
to
to
be
get Iron Grenadier Destro last year, and I guess that got pushed back to this year because that was on one of the orders for 2023 for 2024.
wow.
Yeah, and then but I can't remember if he came with the
The
his
spoiler.
yeah the despoiler, so he'd be like the Serpentor range, I
Oh yeah,
guess.
yeah. That makes
But
sense.
that might but they didn't execute that, so maybe that's going to be held for something else.
Well,
But
the thing about this stuff, I think that what they're doing with Cold Slither, the 4-pack exclusive Sandy, that's the way to go because if it doesn't impact your collecting, your figures, your GI Joe main stuff, then that's what you want to put. You want to put something that's out of the box, out of the way, that's unique, and
yeah,
nothing's gonna. So Destro is not one of those things.
no,
You need
he's
to
a
have that as a main figure and vehicle
well.
in the
Plus, you're getting you got Dark Line, which is connected with the Iron Grenadiers. You
yeah.
got the Iron Grenadiers, Iron Grenadier Bats. I could see them redoing Scrap Iron in more of an Iron Grenadier colors because he works for Destro and Mars.
Yeah.
And then maybe a different Baroness where she
Oh
doesn't
yeah.
have the Cobra symbol and maybe has
Yeah.
like a Iron Grenadier symbol.
Oh
And then
yeah.
I
I'm
could,
sure. I'm sure
and
we're
then of
gonna get
course,
another Baroness. There's no
oh,
doubt
I
about
mean
that.
that's a no brainer. I mean,
Yeah.
well, I want the Skybound Baroness.
Yeah.
I want a Skybound Baroness and an adult costume for my wife.
So,
So
but the fact that
for
they're doing the
cosplay reasons only, guys. No, I'm not gonna lie to you. You know what's up.
naughty girl, not.
But
Oh, sorry, we
yeah,
went there. Sorry.
you all know what's up. So no, but no,
Oh
yeah,
man.
and I want to Mars Mercer
Oh
because
yeah.
and I could see him being that road pig size because
Yes.
they have him in the comic. That is a big dude.
Oh yeah.
Um,
But the fact that we just got the main first clue that yes, Skybound is on the table because of that Skyfire and the two figures from the Void Rivals. So now it's obvious.
yeah, I think
If,
that's
if it
great,
wasn't
man.
obvious before with Nemesis Enforcer, then it's definitely obvious now. We're going to be getting that stuff.
Yeah, that's it. And I think it's cool they're doing that legacy line because I think it's cool they're making firemen, policemen,
Yeah, Legacy.
EMTs. I
Yeah,
mean, who knows? Maybe they'll make construction workers. Who knows? I think it.
policeman.
I think it'd be kind of cool too if they did like a. I guess you could do it in the legacy line where like you make like VIPs, or you can make like like a generic general, and like a
Yeah,
generic president guy,
yeah,
or some type of diplomat. So like if you're a kid or you want to set up a diorama as a big kid, or like
yeah,
Cobra's kidnapped this guy and
yeah. Oh yeah.
Joe's got to rescue him. I think that'd be kind of fun too. And then I wouldn't mind seeing him do like, of course, we talked about Doctor Venom,
Oh yeah.
and
I,
he's in the Skybound book, and then I can never think of his name because he keeps asking everybody to kill him in the Skybound book. The guy that created the mass device, because
oh yeah, that guy.
he was in the cartoon and he seemed pretty cool in the cartoon. This one in the comic, he seems really unhinged because he's probably, I guess, if you've been in some underground bunker with the dreadnoughts, you'd probably be a little unhinged and want to be ready to leave this life, I guess. But I can't think of his name, Doctor something or another. But I think it'd be kind of cool. They made him just like characters like that. So like you could have like a diorama of Cobra Commander there, and Major
Well,
Blood's got a gun on the guy, and the guy's on his hands and knees, and give us $1 billion, or we're gonna 86 this guy, or
But
and
there's things, you can tell they're leading towards certain things. Like in the Skybound, you're going to get Pythona, you're going to get Globulus, you're going to get Mercer, you're going to get Good Baroness, you're going to get Long Haired Duke, you're going to get, some of these other odds and end characters. I'm surprised they didn't give us a Dark Lawn alternate head from the comics. That would have been something I thought they could have did. But the Legacy line, I think I want to go into more cooler military specialties like an astronaut or all
I
this.
think that's where it's going.
I hope.
Yeah, if you look back at like some of the history of the 12-inch line, they've done firemen, astronauts, SWAT guys, regular cops, MPs, just generic grunts, Marines, everything. And I think that's where that line's going because it fits in with the Joe stuff.
Yeah.
And then you could do oh man, you just made me think of something. What if they did we got a Gabriel Kelly head for barbecue, and then you could put him on the fire English is tough. Firefighter body. And then you got like a scene from one of the cartoons where he was on leave and was doing, helping put out a fire, and then his dad got captured.
Well, and
Um
one of the things I think they missed the ball on was when they released the Marauders barbecue. They should have included another head that was the face
yeah, a lot of people
unmasked.
said that.
So
And,
then
and
you
who
could have got
knows?
that one and put it on the other barbecue, because that one didn't come with another head either, because that's a peg warmer figure, that Marauders barbecue. In order to make that not a peg warmer figure, they could have stuck that extra head in there.
I could see that, and I agree. I think, but yeah, I think they're really. I mean, look at Darklawn. He's got two different helmets.
Yes.
Breaker's got two different heads. I mean,
Yeah,
they're really.
a lot of them do.
I am a little nervous. They're not talking about price because I know I know Hasbro's had this wet dream of making all 6-inch figures $30 across the board.
Oh,
And,
I hope not.
and because I know a lot of people that would cut them out, and which I've heard they're not the Joe team, because the Joe team is obviously having a lot of fun doing this, but like the people that want to turn it into like a gaming company, like, oh cool, nobody wants to buy the toys, we'll just cut it out. But I don't
Well,
think we're there yet. I think
I hope not.
25 from my pricing from our orders so far, it's still 25
I hope
retail.
so.
But
Please.
yeah, I mean, I'd love to
There's
see it go
enough.
back to
I
20.
I think they got enough price points along the way, from $25 to $100 for different people, where their pricing and their budget is. I don't think you have to do that. I hope not. I think 25 for the regular wave, 22 or 23 for the vintage, then 34 for the deluxe, and then you get into 45 figure and vehicle, and then 55 bigger vehicle and exclusives, and then 89 in that figure in larger vehicle, and then 100 for the bigger vehicles. I think that's a nice round set of numbers there.
I'd like to
You
see
know,
them maybe do and I don't really need like the on the packaging or whatever, because they kind of do it with Transformers a little bit.
yeah,
But like, kind of give them like the deluxe would be like a 6-inch figure, Voyager, commander, leader class, but do it
yeah,
like in a military sort of way, where or terminology that fits GI Joe. So
uh,
like, okay, the snake armor is going to be it's a the commander class or leader class. Okay,
yeah,
so it's going to be this price point or
right,
around that price point,
yeah.
or the all striker is going to be a commander class, so it's going to be 100 or 90, or I
General
think that'd be
class.
yeah. Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, captain, lieutenant sergeant, captain. Yeah, I mean they could do so much fun stuff with it,
Yeah.
but you can tell. Excuse me, you can tell these guys are having a lot of fun with the line.
Oh yes.
And I think as long as they're having a lot of fun with the line, we'll see the line continue to be a lot of fun for us. And hopefully the powers that be don't squash that, because Joe and Transformers, and just like history repeats itself every time, make them money and help keep them in, out of debt, if you will.
Yeah.
Um, but keep them in the black.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the stuff they're coming out with is great. I just love the attention to detail. And like
Oh
you said
yeah.
on the box art for the Cold Slither, I mean, just a little. And I agree with you. I think something like Cold Slither, I don't really could see that. I mean, maybe it would in a perfect world, but I don't see that being like a general retail release, like calling up Target. Hey, did y'all get the newest Cold Slither? Or calling up
Yeah.
my
No.
store,
I
Zone
think
Comics, Zone
that
Comics and Toys. Did y'all get Cold Slither? I feel like that's better
yeah.
suited for a Comic Con.
This was better for San Diego Comic Con because not everybody wants this. Not everybody
Exactly.
likes Cobra La, but it was the perfect thing for San Diego Comic Con. I do feel that Chuckles was a little bit too popular to do as a San Diego Comic Con. I love this set. I think it's fantastic, but I think Serpentor and Dr. Mindbender and him and Zartan, I don't think should have been San Diego Comic
Well,
Con.
we're getting a Doctor Mindbender.
Yeah, that's going to be in the next
That's
vintage line.
the
We
retro
already,
card,
yeah,
and
we already ordered that. So that's,
I could totally see I could totally see Chuckles being re-released as a general release.
I hope so. I hope they do it more like the Rawhides version of him as a vintage figure with the white shirt, and maybe he comes with a big missile and he's got different stuff. I think that would be perfect. A perfect version of Chuckles to do as a
Well,
vintage, and it's
you know,
different.
I like the idea of the theme, and I think it's cool. We're getting a mass device, and then like you said, maybe the next theme is the Weather Dominator, the Pyramid of Darkness, and maybe a bunch of dead bodies that we can get DNA from for Serpentor, and then maybe something that ties in with Cobra Law, pieces of BET. Um, you know,
Yeah.
I just think that would be really cool, man. That would just be
Oh
a lot
yeah.
of fun stuff,
Um.
and the level of detail in it is just you know they've stepped their game up on a lot of
Oh yeah.
stuff, and I know in the beginning like everybody got some mad. Or not, I mean, not everybody at first because everybody people were saying that the first wave of classified were peg warming, and I'm like, dude, I sold 10 cases of every
No,
figure,
that
and I
is
think it
not
was like
true.
eight. That's like 80 figures a character,
That
and
is
it's like,
not true because
yeah, that dude.
you can't find that first
No,
8 figures anywhere. There are variants of all those. There's running variants. That
yeah,
Snake Eyes Double Zero goes for upwards of $250 for that. So no, that is untrue. That is
and I
not a
didn't
peg
mind.
warming
I
wave.
didn't. I didn't mind their more futuristic, modern take. I guess
I
I
like
didn't
that.
mind
I wanted
sans
that.
the guns. The guns were Nerf guns or
Yeah.
Fortnite guns or whatever. But see, I think like strategically, you kind of do like the retro carded Duke and Scarlet style
Yes.
first. Then you do the more okay. Now we're going to do another Duke and it's the one with the shin pads.
Yeah.
That I think would have landed a little bit better. But I understand why they did it.
Because
And they still look
they
great.
didn't know how they were going to do this in the beginning. I've done interviews with different people, Corey Cantaloupe, Daryl DePriest. They didn't know how this was going to work. They were trying something, and they were moving it forward, and they moved it forward uh, uh, too soon. I think we could have got to it just like you said, but they were working on the Snake Eyes movie and they had to figure out what they were going to do with that. And then they said, okay, let's jump the gun and let's go a little bit further in the future because that's what G.I. Joe is. It's always 10 years in the future than where the
Yep.
regular military of the time is. That was always the remit back in the 80s. Kurt Bazigian has said it numerous times on interviews. And so that
Yep.
makes sense. A 2020, 10 years in the future would have been 2030.
Yeah, or even if they're in 2020, they're using 2030. What's going to be standard issue in 2030? But no,
That
I think they all look really great.
I like.
Some of the Cobra Commanders are different, and I
Yeah.
don't think it hurts to have different versions of those characters. Like I said, I think starting out the gate, I probably would have went with like retro carded Duke on the retro card because that's
Yeah.
I think all the Joes should be on those cards.
Well, they're
Get rid
gonna
of them,
do it. They're gonna do it just based
but
off the wave that we've already pre-ordered with Doctor Mindbender, Rock and Roll, and Viper. Those we pre-ordered already, so they're on the way. Then we just got the Flint, the Lady J, and the Televiper, and then the next wave, I believe, is gonna be Green Shirt. It's gonna be a Bat, a vintage version of the Bat, more canary yellow, and nobody knows who the third one is. but there's also
Uh,
rumor that Techno Viper is going to be re-released down the road. So we may get a Techno Viper on
that'd be
uh,
cool.
retro card.
He
So let
went fast in my store. He
yeah.
went fast,
Well,
and I've got troop
he's one of my
builders.
all-time favorite Vipers. So I got like 4 or 5 of him. I love Techno Vipers.
Well, my standard was like getting 5 of each troop because the
Yeah.
way my shelves were at the time, I could fit a row of 5, like line in a line, and changed it up so now it's 4. So it was funny that I was talking to somebody the other day, and they said, "How many Iron Grenadiers did you get?" And I was like, 16. They're like, "Oh, for the shop." I'm like, "No, that's just what I got,
Wow.
16." Oh yeah, because I got rows of 4. So and now I went a little deep on those because that's Destro's guys.
They did
Um,
a good job with that Iron Grenadier. I've got to say.
Frag Viper, I'd probably get 4 of those maybe.
Yeah, all
I
these
don't need.
specialty Vipers, you don't need a lot of each of them. Although
No,
I
I
would
figure,
get
I
that.
figure like you'd probably have like a squad of Vipers and then like a Frag Viper and a Techno Viper rolling with
Well,
them.
but the thing about it is these specialty Vipers, like the Frag Viper, Lenny mentioned, if you take the sash off, it's a normal Frag Viper. But when we
Yep,
put the sash on, he's like the commander of the Frag.
I
So
think
I
that's
think that's
cool.
the best way to do that is then you can troop build and then have a squad leader or whatever with each one of these
Yeah, I love
specialty.
the idea of that. That's so fun. And then, of course, they could also make another figure that was the leader, and then we'd probably still buy it. But no, I like
Probably.
that idea because now see, look, we were talking about he's surgically enhanced. So who
Yes.
else was the stiletto pilot was surgically enhanced.
Yep.
The range vipers were obviously surgically enhanced.
And the water guy with the stingray.
Oh yeah, the
I
not
can
the
never
eels.
remember his name.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. They were another diver group. They
Yes.
thought- yeah, they were surgically enhanced. So Dr. Mindbender was pretty damn busy in Cobra.
Oh yeah,
He
oh
just
yeah. That's what I love about GI Joe is that fringe science, all these out of the box ideas and fun stuff. That's what makes this fantasy and makes it not
in my
military. And everybody's like, "Oh, I want the realistic military." Blah blah blah. Like, no, give me the science, give me the fantasy,
in
give me the
my
monsters.
in my pitch to Hasbro, the 90, I think it was like I said, 90% of the Vipers in Cobra blue shirts were clones. So
Yeah.
that way, mom and dads wouldn't have a problem with the Joes shooting lasers at clones because you had Clone Wars, And
So
I thought, plus, I'm like, I mean, I know Cobra Commander's pretty good. He's a good salesman, but damn, I mean, how many people, they have armies. And I was like, what a better way? Just clone them, you got, and nobody knows who's a clone. So like you
right.
and I could be on a squad and like Terry's in the squad and like Terry's the clone and we have no idea,
Yeah. I agree
because
with you
nobody
on
takes
that.
their masks off.
Yep. So the next 4-figure wave that's been rumored, you can either confirm or deny this if you would like, but we're getting Snake Eyes version 4. We're
Yep.
gonna get now. We just got the clue on the Cold Slither box, Monkey Wrench,
Yep.
and it's rumored that it's gonna be Night Vipers and Sci-Fi. Finally,
Sci-fi, yes, yes on sci-fi, yes on Monkey Wrench, and yes on Snake Eyes.
But you don't know
The
about Night Viper.
Night Viper, I'm not sure. I'd have to ask my guy again.
Okay.
Now, we ordered. So when we get these calls and we do like a big mass order, um, I ordered Joe and Transformers, and I believe Marvel Legends, and this is back in October of last year, 24. I ordered all the way up to about October, November of 25. So kind of what ends up happening every time. So like say you got like a wave 1, wave 2, wave 3.
Yeah.
There's no wave 4 because all that gets delayed, or they add in stuff like a Destro maybe,
Yeah.
or they push it. So like the when you get it, okay, so we're not getting anything this month. Like because we're at least my store, we're getting. And again, I'm a one store. I'm not multi stores like Target and Walmart because people get mad. Well, how come Target has it first? I'm like, well, I'm not.
The pecking order. You're on the
Last name's
bottom of
not
the
Target,
pecking
buddy.
order.
Last name's not Target or Dan. It's not Dan Walmart or Dan Target. It's Dan Thompson. But
Yeah.
so they get, but sometimes we'll get it first, but we'll always get it with very rare exceptions. Like we never got our nunchuck. We somehow, but that was a Hasbro. Something happened where
That was
Hasbro
an
changed out
Amazon
their.
exclusive. That was an Amazon
Oh,
exclusive.
we had orders for him, and what happened on that was the rep. They changed the Hasbro rep,
Uh,
and he didn't like check the orders. So there was a whole wave of stuff like Transformers, Marvel Legends, not everything, but some of that stuff we missed out on. And then they were trying to catch back up on it because there was some Transformers we never got, or we never got our full orders of because of that. But but yeah, so usually I don't even. It's like we do the orders, and it's kind of like that's what I have for you. This goes all the way up to October, so it usually works out where it covers the entire year.
Ah,
With maybe a few things get added in, or a few things get dropped off and pushed back to the next year, or some things just get dropped off.
I see.
But yeah, so it's weird how they do it, um, but that's at least how they do it with Fans Channel. It might be different for Big Box. I don't
Yeah.
think it is because I think it's kind of the same. But it's the neat thing about Fans Channel, and I've never understood this where like, and I don't, and I've not been in a Best Buy or GameStop in a long while. I know there for a while, like some of their Marvel Legends were like $30 and $35.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, well, they're not Target and Walmart. I'm like, yeah, but we have the same buying power. There's no difference in buying power in Fans Channel. Like
Like
if you're getting it,
GameStop, right?
yeah, GameStop and Best Buy would be Fans Channel. So like they're getting it for the same price I am, and mine are 25. So it's like if they're not $25, they're telling you something. They're telling you a fib, or they're manipulating the price a little bit because
Yeah.
they don't. If like if I have one store and I can afford to make profit on selling them at 25, you sure as hell know GameStop and Best Buy can. But all
Right.
the there's no pricing tier. Target and Walmart, that's a lot different because thousands of stores, versus hundreds of stores with Best Buy or GameStop versus one store with me, or whatever. But um, yeah, so it's interesting animal how that works. But yeah, it's funny. Like my guy will read off the list, and I'm like 15, 30, 24. And then I'm like, hold on, what was that one I just said 15 on? Okay, because it's just you're getting so much data all at once, and there's nothing like I can like look at because they just get names. Like,
Gotcha.
hey, Hasbro rep said we got Firefly, who's not Firefly. We've got coffee cup. We got this like what?
Yeah.
The coffee cup. Okay, is that a
Well, don't they
troop
give you?
builder?
They don't give you the breakdown as if to let you know this is a four-figure regular wave. This is a vintage wave. This is
We
a
do get
deluxe
retro. We do
figure.
get
Blah blah
that. We
blah.
do get the breakdown of that. But a lot of times we order solids, so it doesn't matter. I didn't like when you say a wave. I'm like I might be in the wave. I don't know, but I just get solids. So that way, if I can kind of if we want to order, like I think we got in 5, 6, 7 cases of Iron Grenadiers.
Wow.
Yeah, and we've only got like maybe no 12 left out of all that. Where 6 times whatever that is.
You know what's so funny about that Iron Grenadier is I am still waiting on my dial tone. It's been on order for a while, and I keep getting emails. It's on the way. It's coming. It's going to be sent
Dial
out. Blah, blah,
tone,
blah.
we got
I
one
have not
case
gotten
in.
dial tone.
Dial tone, we got one case in, and we
Yeah,
should be getting more in.
I
But
don't
it's
know.
that's one of those that it's like, oh man, I need all my cases for that. And then the eel, the retro carded
Oh
eel,
yeah.
we were supposed to get last year, and somehow Hasbro didn't get those out to the fans channel the way they were supposed to. So we got one case of the eel, and
Wow.
I was like, oh, will we get more in? And the guy's like, hopefully, so it's like, I guess that one to go on the wall, and hopefully we get some more in so I can get my four up on the, up on the shelf, and then get one for my son.
Is that
Um,
like a is that like a company that used to do back in the day? They used to have this company that would come to comic stores and baseball card stores and places like that, and sell like boxes of cards and all these different sports type stuff. And they'd say, "Hey, yeah, this is going to be this. How many do you want?" And they'd order two, or they'd
well,
order five.
there's for at least
Is it
for us,
is like a
and I think
company that
there's
does that?
another company, and I can't think which one it is. So we got Entertainment Earth, Southern Hobby, Diamond, which we know that's soon to not be,
Yeah.
and then there's another wholesaler distributor, and I'm not sure who it is. I don't know if it's Big Bad Toy Store. I don't know if they do wholesale. I've never looked into that, but there was somebody else. But there's like a certain pecking order for who gets preferential treatment. That's a
Ah,
tough word to say when you just wolf down some coffee. I'm not gonna say it again because I'll butcher it, but they there's like it's because it's weird because like my pricing, like at least for me, I get my classified Marvel Legends, Transformers, and very little Star Wars a lot cheaper than I normally would get it.
Ah,
Just some negotiations I've done. So like we get it, we're like I could if I wanted to, I could lower the price of the figures to like 23.99, and still be within my profit margin. But I'm
nice.
just like, let's just keep it the way it is because you got to compensate for shipping, and stuff like that. And it just,
Yeah.
they're 25 everywhere except some places. But
No, GameStop is $29.99.
wow, that's crazy because I don't know why would you spend the $5 extra when you
I
can
don't
go
know.
to Target or a Zone, my store.
It
Um,
used to be you could get them at GameStop earlier. People could get in there and get them before a lot of other people, but now they're later.
yeah, they should be. I mean, we should get them around the same time.
You'd think.
I don't understand the rhyme or reason to it. I mean, maybe GameStop orders directly from Hasbro, because
Maybe.
you can still do that, um, but you got to commit to a certain dollar amount. I think
Yeah.
for me it wouldn't be a problem because the volume of GI Joes and Transformers and Legends we sell.
Yeah.
Although the last 5 years it's decreased because of the economy and in interest. The GI Joes not so much, but Transformers has kind of dropped a little bit, and then Marvel has dropped quite a bit, and Star Wars is almost non-existent. And talking to my vendor too, because like we were going through all this list and said, "What Star Wars do you have?" Because I mean, if somebody wants it, I'll order it. I don't have a dog in that fight. It's not some of it's not for me anymore. But if you said, "Hey, order me 5 cases of everything from Acolyte," as long as your money, your check goes through, so to speak, you're getting 5 cases of the Acolyte, whatever you want. It's
Yeah.
not going to offend me to order anything. But he just said, "Man, there's no Star Wars orders." I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "No, just no one's ordering it." And it's just like, oh man, to think like 10 years ago, if you went back in time and told me that
Not
10
even
years ago,
10, maybe 6.
10 years ago, I mean, gosh, man, Black Series, we were 10 cases minimum. Same thing with Marvel Legends. It was just like 10. Well, you only ordered 10 cases. What's wrong with you? Okay, bump it up to 20, or whatever. And just, they've really degraded that. And it's a shame. Um, but it is what it is. Now, I haven't heard any news whether Hasbro's going to continue the license or not. I don't really see
I'm
Hasbro
hearing
announcing that.
McFarlane might be getting the license for Marvel since he lost DC.
Yeah, I mean, it's still going on today. I mean, well, I guess it's over now. Toy Fair's over now, but
Yeah.
I really don't see Hasbro making that public at Toy Fair because because they have product coming out and they don't want to jeopardize
Right.
selling out. It's
Sales.
really surprised they announced the DC thing because somebody said, "Well, won't that hurt Todd's sales?" And I'm like, I mean, I don't know, maybe not. I mean, people
Well,
might
he's
buy it
not
if
the only
it's
one, but he's not the only one making DC figures. Spin Master is doing the Superman movie figures, and they have a bunch of generic. They've been doing generic stuff, kitty stuff, much cheaper than Todd's stuff.
oh yeah.
And so there's been two companies at the same time doing it, but they don't get as much publicity. Spin Master, but they do good stuff.
Yeah, didn't they do some Fortnite stuff a while back that was like
Yeah,
4-inch compatible, or is
yeah,
that Jazzwares?
yeah.
There's one of those
No,
companies.
no. Jazzwares is Fortnite, I think.
Okay, if somebody was doing those, yeah. I mean, the ones I've seen, like the Spin Master stuff. I mean, I think my son would like those.
Yeah.
I mean, they're 4-inch and they're the size he likes for you know uh, playability, and they look decent. I mean, they don't
Yeah.
look ugly.
No, they're nice. They're a quality toy. I've known Spin Master for years. I've
I
dealt with
thought
them.
Marvel's or Hasbro's attempt at doing that scale for the Marvel figures was kind of laughable because
They're
like
they're still
Thor
trying
didn't
to do that, but I
Thor didn't
don't
have
know.
a hammer or a cape or
Yeah,
something, and it's
yeah,
like really, how
yeah,
do you have Thor without a cape or a hammer?
yeah.
And
I don't know.
it's just weird. But
Yeah.
no, I as far as Toy Fair goes, is all the stuff I've seen, man, just looks really cool. Even the stuff I'm not really into. I'm like,
Yeah.
maybe I need to give that a second look. There's a NECA Turtles set with Usagi Yojimbo. It's from one of the comic series they did where recently where Turtles and Usagi crossover. I did a
Oh,
crossover, and man, they look great. They look just like Stan Sakai sculpted the figure himself, and
I,
they look so cool. And it's
I
like,
saw the 2012 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles
oh
figures. They
man,
look
yeah.
incredible. I don't know who's doing those, but they
I
look
think
really good.
that might have been NECA
Oh,
or right because the Playmates did it would just be a re-release, so it had to be NECA.
yeah.
Then my friend showed me some Hiya Toys 4-inch turtles
Uh,
that just look incredible, and it's just he's got him in hand, and he brought him into the shop the other day. I'm like, oh man, I don't need to see this. How much are
I, w-
these?
I,
Where
w-
can I get them? You know?
I want to get more high GI Joes. I only have four, and I'm missing a bunch.
Yeah, I bought
So,
Beachhead and Cobra Commander from Terry at the Kentuckiana show,
yeah.
and man, those look nice. They are really
Dude,
nice.
I got Flint, I got Firefly, I got Major Blood and Cobra Commander, but I missed Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow. And there's a bunch of other ones. So
Yeah, I
if you
need to
ever get
get.
a connection there, let me know.
Yeah, I mean, with the we were trying to get the Super 7 Plus through Diamond, but with Diamond's situation, I think we're gonna go through Entertainment Earth on those, and then we were getting Action Force through Diamond, and I think I'm just gonna reach out to Mark Weber and see if I can't set up an account and just get them directly. Probably cut out some of the BS with Diamond, you know, because they probably
Yeah.
jack it up more.
Yeah.
Our profit margin would probably go up if we don't go through Diamond, but yeah, because all that stuff sells, man. Everybody likes this stuff, and it's just what a cool time to be in it. I just wish, and I know I sound like a broken record. I just wish they would get kids into it because I think kids are starving for something like this, and they're just not asking for the business. I'll probably
Yeah.
say that every podcast I'm on. I say it every week in the store.
Why don't you
People are
have
like,
a T-shirt made? They're not asking for the business.
"Yeah, I'll get like a wrestling T-shirt."
Yeah.
If I was a wrestler, that'd be my catchphrase. Cause they're not asking for the business.
Uh,
Yeah, that would be funny. That would be my gimmick.
yeah.
Um, but I mean, like WWE, the Mattel figures for WWE does such a great job with that.
Well, and
You
I
know,
think, there's been all these rumors about Mattel possibly being sold or whatever, but the fact that they are getting the DC license, so they're gonna have Masters of the Universe, they're gonna have Barbie, they're gonna have Hot Wheels, and they're doing crossovers with Hasbro with a lot of their properties in all these properties, Transformers, GI Joe, and so on with Mattel, and now they're gonna have DC again. They're a mega.
they're actually surpassing Hasbro, and I
Oh
don't think
yeah,
they're surpassing Lego. But if they're not number one, they're a strong number two,
oh
and
yes,
Hasbro's about a three right now.
yeah, they're losing it.
And they've got a lot of catch up to do. But yeah, I mean the DC stuff, man, there's just some really cool stuff can come out of that. Now I know like people are like, oh, we're going backwards, and like I don't think so. I mean, I think they why would they go? I mean, they like, hey, we get to redo these lines and make them even cooler. Has Marvel
Well,
Legends gone backwards? I mean, I think Marvel
no,
Legends,
it just kept going forward. They just got
yeah, I
better and
mean,
better and
we
better.
I've got the Secret Wars Black Suit Spidey, and I think he looks amazing. And they've
Best
done Black
Spider-Man
Suit
ever.
Spidey before,
Yeah,
and he just looks better. So I
yeah,
think
yeah,
it'd be the same philosophy with Mattel. I mean, the
yeah.
Origins line. I mean, I'm like we talked about it off camera a little bit. The Thundercats Origins line, I am so stoked for
Oh yeah.
because I for like the Ultimate Super 7 Thundercats line was a little out of my price range, even though I could get them. It's just they don't come out as frequent for me, and then I don't have some of the characters that came out before, and I don't want to go fight eBay and whoever to get them. But I was like, if they did like a Masterverse or an Origin scale, I'd be all in. And then next thing you know, Masters X Thundercats Origins line. I'm like, whew, we're gonna need another wall for another shelf because they do a Cat Slayer, a Thunder Tank, or a Mumra's Tomb, or a. I mean, look at they did Snake Mountain. They did such a great job with that. It's faithful to the original, which I never had as a kid. I had Castle Grayskull. That was just a requirement in the '80s. You had to have Castle Grayskull, or you just couldn't go to school or something, you
Yeah,
know. And
yeah.
but they had the Snake Mountain they did was so great. It was such a great update to that. They're doing the Fright Zone, and I'm like, so why wouldn't they do a kind of a Castle Grayskull level Cat Slayer, and
Yeah.
you could do Castle Plundar, which I
They
don't think
did.
they
They,
ever did Castle Plundar, did they?
no, they never did, but they did just release. They're almost done with their the shipments of the Cat's Lair, and everything that I've seen, everybody that's shown that thing off, it's incredible. I didn't have the bandwidth to get it, and I regret it because I've gotten every single thing else that Super Seven's done for Thundercats and Silverhawks. So I regret that I'm not going to have that to go with my other stuff because I was a big Matty Collector Masters of the Universe person. So I
Those
got
are,
Castle Grayskull from Matty Collector, and I got a lot of those, and they're incredible.
I remember
But I
seeing that
never
at
got to
Comic
take that
Con.
to go with it.
I remember seeing that thing at Comic Con and just like, wow, this thing is cool. Like this
Castle
is
Grayskull
amazing.
or the
Yes,
Cat's Lair?
Grayskull.
Oh yeah, it's incredible. It's the
Yeah, Cat
ultimate
Slayer.
Castle Grayskull.
I can't remember if my best friend ordered that or not because because one of those deals like we could have gotten it from the store and I was just going to sell it to him at cost because I think it was like $750.
Yeah, with shipping and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, oh my gosh! And then, but I don't think we did that one. Now he might have got it himself because he didn't want me to like take a loss on it, which he helps me out, so I don't care, if I took a loss on it or not. If it helps him out, I'm cool with it. Because I've got like the thing I'll do is, and I do this for like some of my customers. So say there's a Target or Walmart exclusive. I got a guy that like just the other day dropped $300. Some weeks he'll drop $1,000. He doesn't bat an eye at it. We do a special deal for him on stuff. But like he's not going to go on Pulse or Walmart or Target and get exclusives, and he doesn't hunt at Target and Walmart. So if I see it, I'll get it. So say like there's like Tiger Force Terry Ruin action figure, uh, which that actually would be pretty awesome. I want to 3D print it, Tiger Force Terry Ruin action figure. Um, that would be really cool. But I'll buy it. It's $25, right? I sell it to him for $25. I
Yeah.
break even. It's goodwill, and it hook him up. So
Yeah.
it's like it might make his purchase now $100,
Yeah.
for the week or whatever. But I do that for a few of my guys. Like, why not? It's goodwill. If I see it, grab it. If they don't want it, I'll just take it back, or I
Yeah.
give it to my son or whatever.
Yeah.
But why do we have, Daddy? Why do I have an army of like Rakondos? And nobody wanted him. Sorry, and we didn't get to take him back or whatever.
The
But yeah,
retro one is really nice.
yeah, and that would be the retro card stuff, man. I'm all in on that stuff, and I'm not sure, but I thought I heard rumor about maybe another grunt. That's more. I might be thinking that one. We're just getting mixed up on that. No, we're getting the green
The
shirts.
green shirt, and he's gonna have two different facial choices: African American and a Caucasian, and stuff like that. And there'll be different secondaries and weapons and things like that.
Man, that's gonna be so cool.
Yeah.
Because I have a disease called army building. I have two diseases. I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan, and that's terminal.
Oh
So please,
no.
please pray for me.
I do.
And
I will pray for you. That's terrible.
I've tried treatment and just can't. I got my watch on.
Oh
It is
no.
what it is, man. You got to take like a little shot every now and then. And we get there at the beginning of the football season. It's like you get a hopium rush, and you're like, and then playoffs are just like, oh man, I don't feel so good. And then I'm also an army builder, and I blame my parents for that because I had like 8 stormtroopers when I
Oh
was a
yeah.
kid, and I don't know if they meant to do that or maybe they did, but my Cobra guys had one officer and one trooper, and those guys got a lot of overtime pay because like they'd get killed over here. Now I need you back over here. Need you over there. Now as an adult, because eventually I'm going to do this show down in the basement in the room. And I'm
Yeah.
going to do like episodes about the room and all that. And minus the ones my son has snuck out of there, I think I've got like 150 blue shirts.
Wow.
The for 4-inch, the big inch is my son calls classified. I maybe 15, 16, 20 of those of each, the retro carded and the ones that came out a while back.
Yeah.
Yeah, might have a little bit of a problem with that at times. Like Iron Grenadier, I'm surprised I only did 16. I think originally I was gonna do like 20, and,
Yep.
and maybe I still will. I don't know because you got to have your rows and you got to have like a couple guards and you
Yeah.
know.
Well, in the beginning, I was getting 4 of everything, and I had to make a decision whether I wanted to live in my home or not, and so I had to cut back to 2 of everything.
I think you can go 6 months before they try to like foreclose on you. You got about
Yeah,
6 month window there, so that's depending on what comes out that quarter, you might be okay. Get the
yeah,
do like they sometimes do with a car payment, like you get a skip
yeah,
month or something. Be like,
yeah.
hey man, you
Caught
call up
up.
your mortgage broker or your mortgage and company. Be
Yeah.
like, look, man, they had Iron Grenadier bats, and I'm like, oh man, I understand. I'm a Joe guy too. I got you, brother. I got you. We're gonna skip a month. We'll just tack it on at the end of the mortgage. Oh, thank you.
We can
You
only
know.
hope. We can only hope. But I get a lot more than just classified. Obviously, I buy a ton of Super 7 stuff, Thundercats,
So
Silverhawks,
what? So yeah,
Reaction,
give me a
Ultimate.
rundown of what you collect.
All right. This because it changes from year to year because things fall off or things pick up. Like, I never thought I was going to do this line, but the Toy Kind of Mood really pushed it on all of us unsuspecting fans when they kept doing review after review, and it's the Street Fighter Jada line. Fantastic.
Yeah, they look really cool.
I'm getting the Ultimate Thundercats, Ultimate Silverhawks, Ultimate GI Joe, Reaction Plus GI Joe, both. I'm getting everything classified, 2 of each. I dabble in Marvel Legends. I don't get everything. I just because I've been getting Marvel Legends for 25 years. So I don't need everything. I can pick and choose. Like Rom got 2 ROMs, but
Better.
everybody else in that line, I didn't need. I already had them all. Some of the X-Men that came out, I got 1 or 2 of them that were new characters that never came out. So I pick and choose Marvel Legends, Star Wars Black Series, Star Wars Vintage.
Excuse me.
I'm all in. Bless you. I'm all in on Black Series and Vintage Star Wars, but only what I can find. I don't pre-order them. I only try to find them at stores, Target, Walmart, GameStop, conventions. So I'm very sporadic with my Star Wars collecting now because I have millions, literally millions of Star Wars figures. If you saw my Star Wars collection, you'd be holy crap. It's bigger than my GI Joe collection. And then I dabble in weird stuff like once in a great while I'll get a Doctor Who figure here. Once in a great while I'll get a DC figure here. I am not a huge DC because I got all the DC what was that thing that they did through DC Comics? What was it called?
Superpowers.
No, the through Diamond. It was through DC Comics through Diamond for
Oh, DC Direct.
DC Direct. I got
Yeah, or DC
everything.
Collect. Then it became DC Collectibles or something.
Right. I got everything through them. So I have tons of DC stuff. So now, and I got all the DC Maddie stuff. I have a complete run of Maddie DC stuff. Everything.
Man, I tell you, some of that stuff. I had some of the He-Man stuff come through the store, and this is like 10 years ago, maybe or longer. And man, that stuff looked gorgeous. I was just like so tempted to keep some of that stuff, and I was
Yeah.
like, I don't need to start this. And then of course, like Origins line comes out, and I'm like, oh yeah, let's get all these.
And see, there you go. And I got tons of the Maddie Masters of the Universe. I didn't get everything because that was a difficult line to get everything unless you bought into their club or whatever they had. So I got as much as I could, and I got certain things to complete the main characters and a few things that I like and some oddball stuff. But then the Origins came out, and then the Masterverse Masters. I've been getting both of those lines, Masters Origins and Masters Masterverse. So just by all that, and GI Joe, I don't just get classified. I get vintage stuff I find, merchandising GI Joe stuff that I find in the past. I'm getting all the Renegade games, getting all like I said, Super 7 Reaction Plus. So, and I do a lot of other things. I'm an autograph collector. I'm a movie aficionado, a movie buff. So, I get a lot of things. I have.
What's your favorite autograph experience?
Oh God, there's been so many good ones. I just met Judd Nelson not too long ago at MegaCon a few weeks ago, and he was so nice. You know who Judd Nelson is?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
He played the voice of Hot Rod in Transformers, the '87 feature-length film,
Oh,
and
he
I
was in
never.
one of the greatest 1980s movies,
Oh
Breakfast
yes,
Club,
it's
quintessential
yeah.
80s movie.
Oh yeah, he's been in lots of incredible movies in the '80s, but
You don't get out of
Transformers,
the. And he was in New Jack City as well.
yeah,
I love that movie, and he was like the token white guy in that movie.
but he did a lot of great stuff. But
Oh yeah,
Transformers the '87 feature film is like one of my all-time favorite movies
same
from my
here.
childhood. I watch that probably at least 2 or 3 times a year. But I never thought we were going to be able to meet Judd Nelson. Most of those guys died off, but he was alive, but he became a hermit. I thought, oh, we're never going to meet Judd Nelson. And then he shows up at a Breakfast Club marathon or reunion at MegaCon. I was like, holy crap, I had to get him. So he was very nice. He talked about all the voice actors. And I told him how aspirational the film is to me about not giving up and fighting and overcoming the odds and this and that. And he thought that was wonderful. And I
That's
totally
cool.
screwed up. I did not get his contact information so I could do an interview with him. I was fanboying and I screwed up bad.
I've met some pretty top level people, and
I have too.
I like my four probably favorite experiences. I met Michael Jordan.
Oh,
Uh, he's one of my heroes. I didn't get an autograph, but I was at a back in a previous life when I was in the cell phone business. We were launching a new company in our city here, and I was on the management team and one of the trainers. And I guess I was part of the cool kids because we had our launch party, and then everybody had to like leave to go to work, and like the cool kids went over to another bar, and I was part of that. And I just got a fresh Corona, and somebody says Michael Jordan's over there shooting pool, and I look over, I'm like, hold this, and I walk over to him, and I'm like, Mr. Jordan, and he turns around, and I look up, and I look up, and I look up, and I'm like, he was a guard. Why is he so tall? And I was just said what I needed to say to him, and like he kind of did this thing where he cocked his head and his eyes tilted, and like what I said registered with him. He said, "Thanks, man," and shook my hand. I said, "Hey, God bless. Have a good night." And I almost started calling people at 2:30 a.m. like, "Mom, I just met Michael Jordan. I'm not going to wash my right hand. I'm going to sell it on eBay." Like I was freaking out, and then like everybody ran up to get pictures, and like a wall of this people got around. Like, stop. And then I think somebody took my beer, but I was like, "That's okay. I'll buy another one." And then my very first comic book convention I went to, I met Dirk Benedict from the 18. And I
uh,
might have told this story the other week. I can't remember,
yeah,
but
you
I
did.
wa-
He's a funny guy, that
oh
Dirk
man, so
Meredith.
that was super cool. It just meant a lot to me. And then I think it was the same convention. There was like a big group from my store. We all went up to Wizard World Chicago, and so Michael Bean was there from Aliens
Oh,
and Terminator and
he's a nice
Tombstone.
guy. Yeah.
Super cool, and like I kind of like fanboyed a little bit, like but this was like the it was funny. Like my wife and one of my customers were with me, and they're like, "You want to go meet Michael Bean?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not pretty enough yet. I gotta go. I'm not ready. I'm not ready to meet him." So we went over, and there was Lorenzo Lamas, and what came on after Dallas on Friday nights was Falcon Crest.
Yeah.
Big Falcon Crest fan, not as big as Dallas, but
Yeah.
and so he was sitting next to the guy that played Mohawk and Bennett, and Mohawk and Road Warrior and Bennett and Commando, and they just kind of gave each other this look like first one of the day. And so I walk over and I'm like, "What's up, man?" He goes, "Hey, how's it going?" And he's like this really Lorenzo Lamas is super tall, and he's like this narrow. Like when he
Oh,
turns sideways, it's like, wow, are you from Earth? Like it's just like there's like no mass. It's just like
huh,
he looks normal this way and turns this way. It's like, how is that possible? So
yeah.
he was being kind of like pretentious, and there's like all this like renegade, uh, photos because he was in the show Renegade. And I said, "Hey man, you got anything from Falcon Crest?" He's like, "Falcon Crest." you're too young for Falcon Crest. I was like, oh no, man, I used to watch it with my granny. I loved it. Man, we became like he walked around the table, put his arm around me, and he was like, and this was his words. He goes, "Get that photo. That doesn't look as gay as the other ones." And he goes, "But get this one. This looks more like Lance from Falcon Crest." I was like, "Whatever you say, man." He goes, "Where are you from?" I was like, "Louisville, Kentucky." And he's like, "That's where my fiance's from, or his girlfriend at the time." And so I started talking to her and him, and then something about some club she worked at, and you could tell it wasn't a bright spot in their relationship with him. So I was like, "Oh yeah, well, man, why don't you get on Sons of Anarchy?" He's like, "Dude, I love that show. I'd love to be on there because he's all about motorcycles and bikes." I
Yeah.
said, "So what would Lance be doing? Would he be running the vineyard like Angela wanted him to?"
Uh,
No, he probably would have screwed that up, and he'd have a motorcycle shop. I was like, "Are you guys going to do a reunion?" Because Dallas did reunions. He goes, "Man, I would love to. Do you think anybody would watch it?" I'm like, "Hell yeah, man. I would watch it, and there's other people that would watch it, and it's
yeah.
Falcon Crest. Come on now." Dallas did like 2 reunion movies or 3 or something.
And it kind
You
of tied
guys,
up Knots Landing as well.
yeah, yeah. It's like you guys could do this. So that was like, but the funny thing was we joked like I became best friends with Lorenzo Lamas because I
Yeah.
kept seeing him like, "Hey, what's up, Lorenzo?" He's like, "Hey, what's up?" So the tradition was at that show, we would eat the steak buffet at the Hyatt to connect it to the convention. And so like Lorenzo Lamas has these gigantic hands and like he could palm your head. Like he's so
Wow.
tall.
Huh.
And so he we're in the buffet line and I said hi to him. And he was like, "Hey," like it's almost like a running gag, like, "Oh, there's that guy. Hey, well, they had these tongs for cookies. He's Lorenzo Lamas. He doesn't use tongs. He takes his hands and sticks it into the serving trays and just starts picking out cookies. Like, I don't like that one. And just like picking out the ones he wants and put the other ones, contaminating the other ones. So like nobody wanted to eat the cookies because Lorenzo Lamas, got his
That's
hands in them. So my wife, we have this joke now, like when we eat dinner, if she has like tongs, I'm like, I'm gonna Lorenzo Lamas this. It's just the
ah,
3 of us. And she's
ah,
like, "What are you over there? Lorenzo Lamas and my uh, you know, wontons or something." I'm like, "Yeah,
yeah.
man, totally." But yeah, those are probably my 4 favorite. And then Richard Roundtree was kind of a jerk, but I don't, God rest his soul. I really wanted to get a picture with Shaft, but it was like, I'm not spending $80 for that, man. Sorry. Just not gonna do
Yeah.
that. And it was in
Yeah.
breakfast line behind Stan Lee, and that was cool. I got a
I,
picture of him and didn't have to pay. I didn't have to get one of those like proof of life photos.
yeah.
You see, those like weird me out. Like I'll see people that like, "Oh, I met Mark Hamill. Really? Did you really meet him?" Because it's like a picture of him, and it's like, like this with like
Yeah.
cheesing fans behind around him. It's
Yeah.
like it looks like he got kidnapped by some Colombians or something. And it's like, "We give you proof of life. You get a photo with him, or we kill him." It's
Well,
like
that's MegaCon. Mel Gibson was there this year, and the people that got
Mel was
pictures with
there.
him. Mel Gibson, yeah, I was at
Wow.
This is the biggest MegaCon I think I've ever been to, and I've been
Where
going
now?
since
Where is
90
MegaCon?
Orlando.
Oh, that's right. Duh. That's
I've
cool.
been going since it started in '92, but this is the biggest one they've ever done. And friends of mine that got pictures with him, he's just standing there like a bump on a log, like, and a fake smile, like that. And they're standing over here, and it looks just exactly like you just described, a proof
It's
of
like
life
Russell Crowe
photo.
proof of life.
Yeah, but I've met,
If you want to see Mel Gibson alive again, give us
yeah,
$5 million and come get his autograph.
yeah.
You know,
Ah, God, I've met so many incredible people over the years, all different stories, all different places, things like that. I could tell you dozens of stories. It's a whole nother podcast. I don't want to
my
get off on
store is
all that.
lined up with all the autographs I've gotten over the years.
I can't
And
put all my autographs on walls. I do have my photo ops with groups. Like I have like the Next Generation cast and me, the Smallville cast and me, the Dukes of Hazzard cast, like
I've
Michael J.
got
Fox and Christopher Lloyd
I've
and
got
things like
two
that on
I've
the
got two
walls.
that are Snake Eyes related. There's one that's Ray Park that he
Oh,
signed,
I met him
and
three
there's
times.
one I did a we used to do. Who knows? We might bring it back. We used to do a Halloween party at the store. When I first bought the zone, one of the things that was requested of me is I bring this party back. They used to do a big Halloween deal, so I did it, and we would do the secret sale where like I'd have like BW3s cater it. or somebody like that, and then or Outback, and then I would be like, all right, everybody, to get your attention. Here's the sale. The new book wall is 50 off for the back issue bins or this. Like no one knew what the sale was. And so like people would eat food, would be in costumes, have a contest. I'd always try to I rig it a little bit where the kids would always win it, because the adults don't need to win it. The kids for the kids. So like one year I went to Snake Eyes and I was like training really hard to be in shape. I got like the commando sweater, got the helmet, all that. And we took a picture of me leaning on the book wall reading the Snake Eyes miniseries that Ray Park wrote. So I sent it off to IDW, and Andy Schmidt emailed, or Chris Ryle said, "Hey, I'm going to send this to our guy Andy Schmidt, who I think was the group editor for the Joe books at the time." He emailed me, "Hey, can we put this in the back of a comic?" And I'm like, "Are you kidding me? Absolutely!" So I think it was like Chuck Dixon's GI Joe 21 or 22. I'm in the back in the letters page, and man, I was like
I
running around the
remember that.
shops screaming,
I
holding this
remember
up.
that. I remember seeing that photo. So that was
Yeah,
you. That's
yeah,
cool.
that's me. Yeah, so that's up in the shops. It's really cool. People will like come in and look at the photos. It's funny because people will be like, "How much are the autographs?" I'm like, "You really want to buy an autograph made out to Dan?" And they're like, are those yours?" I'm like, "Yeah, they're not like hi. It's just like it's got like a message
Yeah.
on there or something." And but yeah, somebody's like, "Well, who is that?" I was like, "Oh man, that's like some really good looking actor that played Snake Eyes for a minute,
Ah,
and
ah,
that it just didn't work out. I think it was going to be on Dallas, and
ah.
who knows? It was like he writes comic books now and runs like a comic store, and I'm like, oh, well, it's like that's me. Oh, okay, cool.
I would like
But
to get
yeah,
some of your. I would like to get some of your comic books one of these days.
yeah, you should, man. If you like, you'll see some. You want me to give you the quick elevator pitch of it real quick?
No, I want to be surprised.
Okay. But if you're a fan of like stuff from the '80s, like people that read the first one were like, I can definitely see where you get your sensibilities from.
Ah.
And
Well, I'm going to be up there in July for Kentuckiana, so I've got to definitely make time to see you. I'll be in Louisville
yeah,
a lot of that time.
go eat
So,
dinner or something.
yeah.
Yeah, I keep trying to get, and I hope we do it this year. I got a friend that used to live here and lives up in Pennsylvania now, um, and he'll come down, but his daughters are still down here because they go to school or college around here, and then trying to get like a group of us to all go out to dinner, but everybody gets so you know
No, I
we'll go
think
out
we
to
could get I think we can get a decent dinner group. I think my friend Jason's gonna be going. Terry will obviously probably be there. Will Wells, you, me. I think we could get a group. My partner, I think we could get a nice group. You can bring your wife if she cares to listen to GI Joe stuff. She can talk to my partner who gives a rat's butt about GI Joe. But
man. We've been together. We were talking to our priest because we're getting ready to get our son baptized.
uh,
And it was funny. He's like, "So how long have you all been together?" And we're like, 28 years this year.
nice.
It's like people get out of jail and sometimes they get out of Congress quicker than we've been together.
That's good.
Not often with Congress, just sometimes. I
I got
said,
about
but
21 years myself.
yeah, 20, congrats. 28 years together, 15 in May married. So
Nice.
we used to joke like we do things long term. We like to think it out and not, rush. And they're like, my God, people get married. Like you all been together for like so many years. Like, what else is there to discover?
I tell
Just get
people
it done.
don't get married. I tell people don't get married because the problem is people rush when they're young to get married and they don't know who the people really are. They're not finding out people. We're getting off a topic on G.I. Joe Toy Fair, but we're getting into personal business here. But
Well, this is
I,
personal. This is good good advice for young men and women out
yeah,
there.
I
Yeah, take
tell
the
them
time.
don't get married. Wait, and see what's out there. Go see the world. Don't get
I have a
married out of high school. There's
I
so
have
much
a
more to offer.
I have a
Please.
book I'm working on. This kind of like a life lessons. I haven't decided if I'm going to incorporate like some of my business experience because I have people that want me to write a book about how we survived COVID and what we did to counter things,
That's a
which we
good
were
idea.
pretty successful with that. But I have a book and it's named after a mentor of mine. And in case he watches this, I'm not going to say it because he'll get mad at me. But I'm doing a book and it's about relationships and a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But one of the things I always say is don't you got to be with somebody for all 4 seasons because
Yes.
people act a lot different in the wintertime than
Yep.
they act in the springtime.
Yep.
Like I'm somebody that needs to see the sunlight.
Yep.
Like I probably wouldn't have made it as a vampire. Like it just would have maybe a werewolf, but not a vampire. But like because I gotta have that sunlight, man. And like wintertime when it's gray and like all that, it does it man, it pushes you on the depression thing a little bit. So you might be a little bit more moody in the winter than you are in the spring and summer, you know. Springtime, you're like, let's go, you know, and
You know,
so I
you
always
just
tell people
you, you
you
you just jogged a memory of mine that you said you're going to be here in June, so we'll probably meet a month before I'm in Kentucky. So yeah,
yeah.
we can probably have dinner while you're down here, and then we have dinner again while I'm down up there.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what days. I know like the first 2 weeks in June because we're gonna do this 2 week tour. I mean, I've been to Florida multiple times. My family lives down there. But the aforementioned friend, he just bought a house in West Palm Beach, and he wants
Nice.
me to come down there. So we're gonna go down there. I'll probably make some jokes that'll either make people love me or hate me, you know, because I might tag myself somewhere. Because I always do this thing, I reverse troll. Like we'd be down in Florida, so I wouldn't be in Kentucky at the shop. So I would tag myself that I was at the Dallas Cowboys training facility, and I would
Ah,
post a picture. This is like when Dak and Ezekiel Elliott were rookies or like year two, and I'd
yeah.
find some picture of them like in their athletic shorts and like a Cowboys jersey or practice jersey, and I'm like, man, they're looking good. Thank you, Jerry, for the ride on the helicopter. And I'd have a picture of Jerry's helicopter and be like, I'm tagging myself in Frisco, Texas, and my cousin falls for this every time, man. And he's like,
Oh man.
it's like, cuz, are you in Dallas and didn't tell me?
Ah,
And I'm like, what does your heart tell you?
ah, ah.
I just always leave it at that and I don't respond. You know, my sister be
I
like,
like that. You prank
bro,
your family. I love that, and your friends. I love
you
that. I think
know,
that's
you got to
fun.
do that sometimes. So, you know, I might tweet I'm in a certain palatial estate in West Palm Beach when I'm down there. And some
You
people
gotta
might
make
think it's cool. Some people might get mad. I don't care.
You got to make
You
life
know,
interesting. It's too boring. You got to make it interesting. I
oh my
love that.
God.
I think
Yeah.
that's funny to prank your family and stuff. Yeah, I love it. Well, I'm gonna say I'm gonna close this out. We've had a really good discussion, a lot of cool stuff coming up. I'm very very happy to see Toy Fair come back, and
Oh, me
it's
too.
in the end of February, beginning of March. Maybe we'll get back to February at some point, but we'll see. Dan, it has been a real enjoyable time talking to you.
Same to
Thank
you,
you for
David.
joining me.
Been a lot of fun.
Um,
Thanks for having me on again.
yeah, it's sad that we didn't get to talk about this with Terry. I would have liked to have seen his insights. He's going
Well,
to be on a toy kind of mood, I think, tonight, talking about some of this stuff, Terry, but he had to rest, so he wasn't able to join us. So
we could
maybe
always
we'll
talk about
try.
it next weekend or something, you know, because I'm
Yeah.
sure there's more news that'll drop, maybe
Well,
price
yeah.
points, maybe
Oh, yeah.
this is an exclusive, this isn't an exclusive. There might be more
Yeah, right.
stuff,
Yep.
you know, and yeah, it's just a lot of cool stuff. Really great to be on here and talk to you about it. And love the show, and it's been a lot of fun.
Well, fans, like I said in the beginning, if you want to see more cool content like this, you want to just see fanboys just blathering on about fun stuff, like, share, subscribe to this channel for future interviews and future content. I've got a few more deep dives. I'm working on a couple of interesting interviews. I've got the third part of my gripping series, The Impact of the G.I. Joe brand on the comic industry. Coming up, the third part will be with a Talking Joe podcast, Mark Seddon and Tim Finn. So keep an eye out for that. And everything else, just yo, Joe.